in order for us to feel normal, we really need to have three major hormones in place. We need our progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. We call them your sex hormones, and they really need to be in balance. And in order to keep those hormones in balance, we really need to manage insulin. And this is why people come to fasting, is that they want to affect insulin. And what they don't realize is if they do it wrong, then they really start to tank those sex hormones. So what we started doing in our community was really looking at these three sex hormones and how insulin drives all three of them at different times in our cycle. So let's start off with this idea that we have a cycle, like let's just assume you have a 28, 30-day cycle, and then we'll talk about the woman who doesn't know when her cycle is coming or going. From day 1 to day 10, day 1 is when you start bleeding, your body is ramping up to make estrogen. So on day 1, you get the shed of the blood, you're actually needing to use some feminine care products. And then from that point on, your body just starts to build estrogen. In order to make estrogen, you have to be insulin sensitive. So if you are insulin resistant, you are going to mismanage estrogen in your body, whether it's estrogen dominance or, as perimenopausal women experience, a lot of estrogen decline. So I think people can go keto, they can fast, they can do 3-day water fasts, and this is what we see in our community from day 1 to day 10 of a woman's cycle. Now, day 10 to day 15, like day 11 to day 15, you're ovulating. So you actually have your sex hormones. Those three hormones are at their peak. So estrogen's at its highest, testosterone's at its highest, and progesterone's not at its highest, but it does peak. It has a little blurb of progesterone you get in that little weird 4-day window we call ovulation. During this time, you do not want to be in a long water fast. You could intermittent fast 15 hours, you would be great. But you don't want to be in a long fast. Otherwise, those hormones will go down. They will suppress. Now, coming out of ovulation around day 16 to around day 19, there's another little 4-day period there where you can go back into a big fast. You can do, I like 24-hour fasts because they reset our gut, and 48-hour fasts like reset your dopamine receptor sites. There's so many cool things in these longer fasts. But you only have a little 4-day window there after ovulation that you can do that. And then the real key, and the one that messes every woman up, is that starts to fast is day 20 until you bleed. You really should not fast. If you're fat adapted, you're like, hey, I'm a pro, I can do this no problem. You might be able to get away with 13 hours. But in general, you need to make progesterone, and progesterone is your calming hormone. It helps you with mental clarity. It makes you feel good. It helps you sleep. It's the hormone that's going to allow your cycle to start again. And it does not it doesn't respond well to cortisol spikes. And fasting is a cortisol spike. So we want you to step out of fasting. We want you to step out of keto. You want to lean into some progesterone building foods like beans and potatoes and citrus fruits and tropical fruits. These are not keto foods. But during that week before your cycle, you really have to be in a more of a nurture phase, not in a cortisol spiking phase. Otherwise, progesterone goes down and then all the hormones start to fall apart.